I, for one, am completely shocked. I was expecting this game was going to be rather close, but I also didn't really, despite all of Detroit's injuries, they suffered from a lot of injuries, and Amik Robertson, he ended up getting hurt at one point, and let me see who else got hurt. Penny Sewell got hurt. What else? Ifidu Melifonwu got worked. Brian Branch got hurt. Campbell got hurt, and I believe not Hutchinson. He did not get hurt. He was back in that game. But there were a lot of players on Detroit's defense that were injured and that were most likely going to be out in this game. Despite this, right? I still didn't really, I didn't think that the Lions were going to lose to this team. I genuinely did not think that whatsoever. And the biggest one that was like the most impactful was Aiden Hutchinson. Really, that was the most. I feel like one of the most important players for Detroit on the defensive side of the ball. So him not being there makes it makes things even more difficult. But still, I did not expect this outcome at all. And talk about the NFC North. I mean, the division. The NFC North, it was expected to be, and people thought it was at the moment, the toughest division in all of the NFL, right? Because the Green Bay Packers, they were the third seed with 11 games. And the only weak link in there was Chicago. Or at least that's what everyone thought. But it's like none of the NFC North teams ended up playing ended up winning a game. They ended up playing in the playoffs, but they did not win a game. The Packers lost, the Vikings lost, and now Detroit ended up losing. And to make matters worse, the quarterbacks on each of those teams only threw 2 touchdowns combined. Yes, I'm going to repeat that. The 3 NFC North quarterbacks, meaning they played 3 games combined for just 2 touchdown passes. It was absolutely disgusting. And Jared Goff, like as I said before and sort of alluded to with the turnovers, turned into Jared Goof in this game. Like, that was really, I said that was like the defense was going to be a little bit of a problem for Detroit, as well as whether or not Jared Goff is going to be Jared Goff or if he's going to be Jared Goof. Here, he was Jared Goof. He ended the game with, while he did throw for 313 yards, he ended with 1 touchdown pass and 4 turnovers. Those 4 turnovers were costly. And just to add more insult to injury, Jordan Love, who played last week, he threw 3 interceptions. So he had 3 turnovers. And Sam Darnold, also played last week, had 2 turnovers. So this team... but the division, I keep saying team, but the division had a total of 9 turnovers in the 3 games. It was completely disgusting. It was unacceptable. Like, you cannot play football that ugly and expect to win. So, Jared Goff, his turnovers, there was 3 of them were interceptions and 1 of them was a fumble. So, and each of those turnovers were completely detrimental to the team and their success. Ironically enough, Detroit opened up with a touchdown, and because after Washington had the ball, they decided to actually go for it. These 2 teams, they go for it a lot, but they started with a touchdown, but then Washington responded with a field goal. Then Jared Goof came in and fumbled the ball. Then Washington responded with that fumble with a touchdown pass, and ultimately, the Lions responded with another touchdown. Actually, no, it was a touchdown run. They responded to that touchdown run with a touchdown of their own, Detroit. So they were up 14-10. Then Washington responded with another touchdown to make the score 17-14. Then Jared Goff came back, Jared Goof came back and threw a pick 6. Yeah. So the score is 24-14, but fear not, Jared Goff came back again and scored a touchdown on 3 plays. So There's that. But guess what? Washington responded to that touchdown with another touchdown of their own. And then Jared Goff came back once again and threw an interception just before the half ended. Again, absolutely gross football right at this moment. Gross. Then the Commanders, they punted the ball, which set up Detroit at I believe the 9-yard line, where they then drove 91 yards down the field to score a touchdown and make the score 31-28. But guess what? Jaden Daniels was like, all right, no, you're Detroit. Sit down. And threw another touchdown. Like, touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. This kid is a rookie. And he's leading he led the Commanders' offense to 45 points. Yes, he got help from his defense with a pick six, but I mean, touchdown after touchdown, responding to everything with just touchdowns. Like, he's not just making a case for being the best rookie quarterback, he's making a case for being one of the best quarterbacks in the league at this point. But again, responded to that with another touchdown, so the score is 38-28. But guess what happened? Jared Goff turned into Jared Goff again, and threw his final interception of the day, to which Washington responded with, you guessed it, another touchdown to essentially seal the win, because the score was 45-28 at that point. Then Detroit kicked a garbage time field goal, then Washington missed a field goal, and then Jared Goff decided to come back one more time just for everyone's laughs and threw his final interception. Pitiful game, absolutely disgusting. Just unbelievable stuff right there. Actually, not all of those interceptions were Jared Goff. I misspoke when I said that. One of those interceptions came in from Jameson Williams, you believe it or not. They were trying to run a trick play where he ended up being one of the players that passed the ball, and that interception really did cost them. Now, this was actually the interception that I was talking about after Washington scored a touchdown in the fourth quarter, so that's when it happened. So really, Jared Goff did not show up until the very end of the game, just for everyone to laugh. And this is the story with Jared Goff. This is the story with similar story with Sam Darnold too. It's like right now you don't know which quarterback you are going to get when Jared Goff steps on the field. You don't know if you're going to get Jared Goff or you don't know if you're going to get Jared Goff, because he does tend to goof up a lot like he did in this game. Everyone else on the team, though, Jahmyr Gibbs played very well. 105 rushing yards for 2 touchdowns. Now, David Montgomery was very, very lackluster in this game, only rushing for 28 yards. Amon-Ra St. Brown was one of the most dominant receivers in this game, 137 receiving yards and 8 receptions. So he was great, but of course, Jaden Daniels just said, you know what, we're winning this game. And he threw 2 touchdowns, threw for 299 yards, almost 300, and also got help from Brian Robinson Jr., who ended up rushing for 2 touchdowns and rushing for 77 yards. Excuse me. And again, this was obviously they had a little bit of help from the pick six, but really that doesn't matter because this offense was electric. It was like every single time. You heard the play-by-play that I just wrote down. They touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, and those are the teams that end up winning football games. The teams that can get the stops, the teams that can cause turnovers, and the teams that can capitalize on said turnovers. And like I said, like the last game that I talked about, the Lions ended up finishing the game with more total yards than the Commanders, but they still ended up losing because they could not take care of the ball. That's been the story so far. So that's all that I really have to say on this game. Again, very surprised by the outcome of this completely. I did not see this coming whatsoever. And props to the Commanders. Now, think about it. This was a team that struggled to figure out what their name for the franchise was going to be. And now they're one game away from making it to the Super Bowl. As a Giants fan, I am absolutely furious. But we're not going to talk about that. So in the third segment, we're going to go ahead and talk about the other NFC East team that I just absolutely despise, the Eagles and their matchup against the Rams. So I'll be right back after this short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.